danger. Don't eat that and don't talk to a stranger. You read them the same ridiculous book, or play a game where you talk gobbledygook. You feed them, house them, replace clothes outgrown, buy a Barbie, a car, and a new cell phone. You persevere through the years of ennui, spend your savings on a college degree, and then comes the day when they will announce everything about you they must renounce. Your views are too weak or maybe too strong, but whatever, you're just totally wrong. You remember what you did all along. Your list of missteps is perhaps lifelong.
Tess of the Durbeyfield by Thomas Hardy. In the quiet village of Marlott, nestled in the Vale of Blackmore, the Durbeyfield family lived in modest circumstances. John Durbeyfield, a haggler by trade, was returning home one evening when he encountered Parson Tringham. The clergyman informed him that the Durbeyfields were the last remnants of the ancient and once noble D'Urberville family, whose lineage stretched back centuries. Though the name had faded into obscurity and the family now possessed neither land nor wealth, the discovery stirred a sense of pride in John. He shared the news with his wife Joan, who saw in it a possible means of improving their fortunes. Their eldest daughter, Tess, a young woman of striking beauty and simple integrity, overheard the conversation and felt unease at the sudden elevation of their status. The family situation was already precarious. John's health was poor, and the household depended heavily on Tess's labor. When their horse, Prince, was killed in an accident while Tess was driving the cart to market, the loss deepened their poverty. Joan, ambitious and practical, decided that Tess should claim kinship with the wealthy Stoke D'Urbervilles, who lived at Trantridge and had adopted the ancient name. Despite Tess's reluctance, she was persuaded to go. She set out on foot and by cart, carrying a letter of introduction, and arrived at the large red brick house that stood where the true D'Urberville mansion had once been. There she met Alec D'Urberville, the son of the household. Alec was a young man of confident manner and persuasive speech. He offered Tess work tending the poultry, and she accepted, sending her wages home. In the weeks that followed, Alec paid her persistent attention. He accompanied her on errands, pressed gifts upon her, and spoke of her beauty. Tess resisted his advances. Yet one evening, after fare in the neighboring town, she found herself alone with him on the road. In the darkness of the chase, under the ancient trees, Alec took advantage of her. The event left Tess violated and altered. She remained at Trantridge for a time, but the knowledge of what occurred weighed upon her, and at last she left, returning to Marlott without explanation. Months later, Tess gave birth to a child. She named him Sorrow. The infant was weak and lived only a short while. Tess baptized him herself in the absence of a clergyman and buried him in the churchyard, placing a small cross of flowers on the unmarked grave. The villagers whispered, yet Tess endured their glances with quiet dignity. She worked in the fields when she could, but the memory of her experience and the loss of her child marked her deeply. In time, seeking a new beginning, Tess left Marlott again. She obtained a place as a milkmaid at Talbot Hayes Dairy, a prosperous farm in the fertile Frome Valley. The work was hard but wholesome. Among the dairymaids and men she found companionship, and there she met Angel Clare. Angel was the son of a clergyman, a thoughtful young man who had chosen farming over the church. He lived at the dairy to learn the practical side of agriculture before emigrating. From the first, Angel was drawn to Tess's quiet grace and natural intelligence. Tess, for her part, found in him a gentleness she had not known before. They worked side by side in the meadows and the milking sheds, and their mutual regard grew into love. Angel declared his intention to marry her. Tess, burdened by her past, tried more than once to reveal what had happened at Trantridge, but each time the words failed her or the moment passed. Angel's family, particularly his father and brothers, regarded a dairymaid as an unsuitable match. Yet Angel remained determined. They were married in a quiet ceremony. On their wedding night, in the farmhouse that Angel had prepared, Tess at last found the courage to speak. She told him everything. The lineage, the journey to Trantridge, Alec's assault, the birth and death of Sorrow. Angel listened in silence. When she finished, he withdrew from her. The purity he had believed he possessed in her seemed to him destroyed. He could not accept what she had suffered. In the days that followed, he treated her with cold courtesy, then announced that he would leave England for Brazil to try his fortune there. He provided Tess with a small sum of money and departed, instructing her to go to her parents if need arose and not to follow him. Tess returned to Marlott, but the money soon dwindled. Her family continued to struggle. John Durbeyfield's health declined further, and when he died, the landlord gave the family notice to quit their cottage. Destitute and with younger siblings to support, Tess sought work wherever she could find it. She labored at a harsh farm under an unsympathetic master, enduring cold and isolation. Letters from Angel were rare and distant. In her extremity, she encountered Alec d'Urberville once more. Alec had undergone a temporary religious conversion and was preaching in the countryside. Yet the sight of Tess rekindled his former desire. He renounced his new faith and pursued her with renewed intensity, offering money and protection for her family. Tess refused him repeatedly, clinging to the hope that Angel would return, but the pressure of poverty and the eviction of her mother and siblings left her without alternatives. At last, believing Angel lost her forever, she accepted Alec's support and went to live with him in the town of Sanborn. Angel, meanwhile, had suffered hardship in Brazil. Illness and failure had softened his judgment. He came to understand that he had been unjust to Tess and resolved to seek her forgiveness. Returning to England, he inquired after her at her parents' former home and learned of her whereabouts. He traveled to Sanborn and found the lodging house where she lived with Alec. When Tess opened the door and saw him, the shock was profound. She told him that it was too late, that she had been forced by necessity to return to the man who had first wronged her. Angel, stricken, left her. Alone with the knowledge of what her life had become, Tess confronted Alec. In a moment of despair and accumulated bitterness, she struck him with a knife. He died of the wound. Tess fled the house and sought Angel. She found him still in the town and told him what she had done. Together they left Sanborn, traveling inland to the countryside, avoiding the main roads. For a brief time they lived as fugitives, taking shelter in empty houses and woods, sharing a fragile happiness born of reunion and the knowledge that their time together was limited. At last they reached Stonehenge, where Tess lay down to rest among the ancient stones. There the officers of the law found them at dawn. Tess was taken into custody. She was tried, convicted, and sentenced to death. On the morning of her execution, Angel and Tess's younger sister, Liza Lou, stood outside the prison and watched the black flag rise above the walls, signaling that the sentence had been carried out. The story of Tess Durbeyfield, descendant of the D'Urberville, ended there in the quiet finality of the law.
The best day of your life, a child is born. Started happy, but get ready to mourn. You'll try to keep them from all of life's danger. Don't eat that and don't talk to a stranger. You read them the same ridiculous book, or play a game where you talk gobbledygook. You feed them, house them, replace clothes outgrown, buy a Barbie, a car, and a new cell phone. You persevere through the years of ennui, spend your savings on a college degree, and then comes the day when they will announce everything about you they must renounce. Your views are too weak or maybe too strong, but whatever, you're just totally wrong. You remember what you did all along. Your list of of missteps is perhaps lifelong.